Yes, good evening viewers, those who are watching us from within Uganda and those within the diaspora. We are glad you have made NTV your #1 station, and we also hope that every Saturday you have made it a point to watch NTV People's Parliament. Tonight, we are in Bududa district here to discuss a very important topic that does not only affect Bududa, but the entire country and probably the entire world. It is about climate change. I am your speaker, Agnes Nandutu, and thank you for being with us. Thank you, honorable members, for coming to join this NTV People's Parliament sitting here in Bududa. You are aware we are going to talk about climate change. The challenges of climate change. You have been so affected. You are aware some of our brothers and sisters are not here. They're in Kiriandongo, others are in Bunambutye because of the climate change. And those are the effects that have affected Bududa. Today we are speaking about it. How can we mitigate it? How are we adapting to it? We have our partners who have brought us to Bududa to talk about this. May I invite our partners to give us a preamble of what they are doing.
My name is Rachel Chozita Kalevi. I bring you greetings from Partners for Resilience. Partners for Resilience is, I would say we have 5 members in the program, and we look at different things. We have Care International, and we have Wetlands International. And with this, we partner with 5 local organizations in Uganda, Participatory Ecological Land Use Management, or PELAM, who are the hosts of this forum. We also have Ecological Christian Organization, ECO. We have Uganda Red Cross Society. We have Parliamentary Forum on Climate Change. And we also have Sorority Catholic Diocese. And here we have our partners, the Eastern Archdeaconry of Caritas, who is hosting us today, who has done all the groundwork. We say thank you. And why do we call ourselves Partners for Resilience? We look at resilience as a central role in helping communities adapt to climate change, but also be able to manage disasters and bounce back in an effective and timely manner. When we look at climate change, we need to look at also disaster management. Yeah? How does climate change lead to disasters? And how do we work on disasters to make sure that we can be able to adapt, but also bounce back in case a disaster strikes? In this, we don't look at these two in isolation, but we look at the entire ecosystem. The landslide will not say that I will stop in Bulucheke village. No, it will go all the way until it finishes its course. So we look at the entire system. That's why we say, as Partners for Resilience, we are looking at climate change adaptation, disaster risk reduction and management, and also ecosystem management and restoration. So why did we choose Bududa this morning? From the government registers, the first disaster which was recorded in the country was in Bududa in 1930. The Elgon region has faced a number of disasters for over a century, but in 1930 we had landslides. Yeah, we had landslides in Nabulalo. I don't know whether you're familiar with that village, but we recorded they were recorded in Nabulalo. And then we've had a trend of them increasing over time. We had in 2010, we recorded the one in Nametsi in 2010. 2014, we had another one. And then of recent, we had the Sume ones of 2018 and 2019, all in Bududa district. So that's the reason we choose Bududa, because it's an area where people have been greatly affected by landslides. It's an area where people have been displaced, lives have been lost, but it's so on our fingertips that every rainy season, people in Bududa are worried what is going to come next. And we believe that if we have a policy that is encompassing all the three, we'll increase survivability of individuals, we'll make sure that livelihoods survive, but also that we flourish and don't have worries every season
Okay.
whenever disasters strike.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member, for that. Thank you, our partners. We even have a Honourable Member representing the Parliamentary Forum on Climate Change. He's here with us, and he is going to tell us how Parliament is handling this problem of climate change. But before we go to him, we would like to invite the chairperson of the district.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First of all, of course, everybody knows how Bududa is affected in terms of climate change.
Yes.
We have lost our dear brothers and sisters. That has also affected the families. Psychologically, they have remained traumatized. So they are not able to participate in mostly when it occurs in these economic activities. We have also lost the fertility of our soil. We have lost properties like houses. The infrastructures are not left, they are also lost. We have lost schools, government institutions. So all these are affecting our people very, very seriously. Some many years ago, this thing used to happen almost every 30 or 40 years. Today, it is a matter of months. When we receive the first rains, which always begin from March to July, people are at high risk and are worried. Then when we begin from September up to October, November, it is another worry for our communities. But like you said, Madam Speaker, that we are living positively with all those disasters, because this is the only home we have. This is the only hope we have. While we appreciate the initiative of government for relocating other people, but they may not be able to relocate everybody. Because first of all, we talked about a relocation program which started far back, 2010. It has dragged on up to now. But when you look at the population which has been relocated, it's far, far below average that were expected maybe by this time that we would have been able to relocate maybe about 4,000 families who are living at a high-risk area of disaster. But when I give you the picture, you get worried. Recently, about this recent relocation in Bulambuli, we expected to relocate about 500 families. But to our surprise, we have relocated 1% of that. And if the government cannot come in very fast and improve on the funding in terms of preparing the relocation areas like Bulambuli, then more are expected to die.
Thank you, Chairman.
Madam Speaker, it's a pleasure that this NTV has come to Bududa. I'm called Namono Anet. I'm a councillor representing people with disabilities, and I am a secretary for community-based services. Mine is, I want to rush very fast on the side of people with disabilities. Indeed, as my chairman has so far been talking, we would at least get an opportunity for almost at least maybe 50% on the side of people with disabilities, because when it comes on the side of disaster, everybody is affected. But it is a high risk, especially on the side of people with disabilities, because we have different people with disabilities. We have that one of blind, we have that one of deaf, and then we have that one which is a high population, that is physical. So I'm appealing to the government that if there is an opportunity, like as they took our brothers and sisters to Bulambuli, that at least they first consider people with disabilities. Because as I'm standing here talking on the side of this side of on the side of disaster, if you go to Bulambuli, I think you can get there maybe 2 persons representing with people with disabilities. And how many are we? We are really very many. That's why I'm appealing to the government that when such programs come, please, priority be number one on the side of people with disabilities.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Madam
Thank you.
Speaker.
Thank you, ma'am. And you know, when disaster comes, those ones who are able can run. But these people, it will be difficult for them because they don't know where they are running to. 2 minutes, Honorable Member. Go ahead, Honorable Member.
Madam Speaker, when you moved out here, Bududa district is highly populated. Bududa, we have produced very many people.
Yes.
We have constructed so many houses. And when it comes to rainy season like we are now, there are so many people who have constructed Mabat iron sheet houses up there. Those houses, when it rains, it collects water. If we went straight away to statistics, you find that people who are staying up hills there, who have constructed the houses, are thousands. And there is no measures that the government has put in place to have those waters harvested. Those waters, when it runs downwards, it is a serious disaster. One time the district brought, rather the partners supported us with water harvest tanks, but they were not enough. I expected the government to, one thing, remove the taxes on the rainwater harvest tanks. Of course, there is 80% inclusive when you purchase. So rainwater harvest tanks are very, very expensive.
Okay.
And the government and the development partners should come in rescue to have us get those water rain harvest tanks, so that we can reduce the running waters from uphill downwards.
Thank you so much.
Honorable Speaker, Bududa district has two areas, upper and the lower. This must be known. So the upper area is more affected than the lower area. People talk of trees to be planted in order to control the landslides. In areas you have already known, there were trees. Talk about Bushunya. There were big forests, but the next day, all the trees were down.
By the people themselves?
No, the landslides.
Okay.
And the people who went in to rescue or to retrieve the dead bodies, instead, we are happily trying to chop the logs, load them on heavy lorries, took them wherever they wanted to take them. I was there. I felt so bad. So the trees must be maybe of special type. But if you talk of eucalyptus and others, I don't think they are doing anything good in those areas. But the experts who know, who have done geology, could help us. What type of trees should we have to plant in the upper part of our district?
So we should have education on the kind of trees we should do.
We should.
Okay. Let's go for a short break, and when we come back, more people will be speaking from Bududa. Yes, welcome back. You are still watching NTV People's Parliament, sitting here in Bududa district. We call it, we are landslide survivors. And we are here talking about the challenges, how we can restore the ecosystem, and how are the Bududa people adapting to this climate change. Honorable members, the ball is in your court. 2 minutes, Honorable Member of NRM.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm called Masika James. I'm a district councillor. I represent people with disabilities in this council hall. Madam Speaker, I want to go direct. You have talked of medication, but for me, I would have liked adoption, because there is no way how we can medicate this problem, because it is just a natural sort of. But now, I want to go direct to the government and OPM in order to see that we medicate or we adapt
they have formed the district disaster management committees. But Madam Speaker, I want to tell you that the OPM has not done a lot to see that these committees are functional. They don't fund them, and they are there lying idle. When this disaster occurs, they always go to the contingency fund. I was of the proposal that if they can extend this contingency fund to the district, so that when this disaster occurs, the district can take immediate action other than waiting for the OPM to come. Because at times, OPM come last. Another thing, when you go to medication or adoption, tree planting. Madam Speaker, I want to tell you that in Bududa, at the rate of cutting trees is very alarming. Lorries are going to Mbale, they are cutting even in the calamitous trees of 2 years.
Honorable Member,
yes.
Are the people themselves of Bududa selling the trees?
That is it. They don't know that when we mitigate, when we conserve the environment, it is when we shall even mitigate this climatic change.
Okay.
Another thing is that soil erosion. Always they come here, even I happen to be the chairperson of natural resources and production, but they come here to say that the district is supposed to go to do the conserving the soil. When you are digging your land, you dig it across, but don't dig it downwards. When you dig it downwards, you will encourage the soil erosion, as the other member said, that what is coming from down to the lower land of Bududa, and as well, it also brings flooding.
Okay, Honorable
Madam
Member.
Speaker, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You have the platform, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Normally, this landslide, when you start very well, it occurs where there is a lot of forests. For example, last year, it occurred in the mid of the forest where the river passes, and then it affected the settlement and the crops along the river. The mitigation is that the government should emphasize on Environmental Act, where people are settling. Look at Chihoro, for example, on River Namfumbol. There's a lot of settlement along the river. Assuming that the river now, it floods, how many people are going to lose life and property? The reason is that the government does not have emphasis on Environmental Act. So we think that the government this time should revive that law so that we allow the people to construct away from the river. Because when you look at Bukaras, for example, last year, a lot of settlement and life that got lost on this catastrophe was as a result of people staying along the rivers around. Actually, even when you go down now in Unamesi, you can't assume that there was a landslide. People have come to settle. Why? Because there is weakness in the, implementing the Environmental Act as the government.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Madam
you so
Speaker.
much. I will have the Parliamentary Forum on Climate Change. The Honourable Member representing the Parliamentary Forum on Climate Change is here. Honourable Member, please tell us what Parliament is doing.
Thank you so much. Silas Augon, Member of Parliament, Kumi Municipality. I represent that constituency, but I also represent all of you. Whatever happens in Bududa touches the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda. And you know very well, we execute our duties through ministries, departments, and agencies of government. And you know, we appropriate money. When it comes to issues of relocation, it is the duty of Parliament to appropriate money. It is the duty of Parliament also to make laws. It is the duty of Parliament to do oversight. We must always follow up and see whatever money has been released, action should be in the line of that release. And I think where there have been weaknesses, it is a call to us as a Parliament to work hard to make sure that all the nuts are tightened, to make sure that all the loose ends are fixed for the good of the people of Bududa. For instance, I can tell you, the government of Uganda has been intervening in many areas. For instance, identifying high-risk areas within Bududa. This has been happening. Number two, the government has been prohibiting settlement in some areas. All this cannot occur without money. The Parliament of Uganda has been appropriating funds for these things to go forward. There are issues of relocation. I know there have been challenges here and there, but Parliament has always been in touch and appropriating funds.
But honorable members, you have heard from the chairman that out of the 100 people who are supposed to be relocated, only 1% has been relocated. As Parliament, please.
Yes, and we are reconverging as a house, as we talk now, to check and find out. And that's why I'm here, by the way. This is part of oversight. I want to appreciate you for having given me an opportunity. When we come here, we get to know from the people direct. So if at all anybody has been telling us in the reports that we have relocated everybody, now I've had an opportunity on behalf of the Parliamentary Forum on Climate Change and the entire House to know that only 1% has so far been what?
Relocated.
Yes, so that is the importance of having such a discussion. You are taking this Parliament to the main Parliament, and I think we really want to appreciate that. And you know, government gives early warnings on issues of disaster, weather, bad weather, promoting rational land use, training people, building the capacity of the communities, building your resilience. When we talk about resilience, how quickly can you bounce back during the times of toughness and difficulties? All this we do as a Parliament by way of appropriating funds that enable government to execute its mandate. Okay. And I stand with you, the people of Bududa, always. And I really want to thank the People's Parliament and the Speaker and the partners, the Chairman LC5, all the politicians of the area, and you, the local people, for having accepted to turn up in big numbers in order to give us big ideas that will go to the main house for the development of Uganda, for God and my country.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable members, you are aware it is even raining as we speak. So let us pray hard that it stops without taking this. Because here we positively live with disasters. So when it rains, everyone in Bududa is worried. So let's pray God that we go back to Kampala when we are alive. Let me have my...
I wanted to make some few comments on the issues of mitigations and other things.
In 1 minute, Honorable Member.
In 1 minute. I wanted to inform the Parliament, Honorable Speaker, that as a district, we have accepted all...
Let's have silence in the House, Honorable Members.
We have accepted all interventions, including offering and surrendering what could have been land for our people. I am referring to the National Park. At one moment, National Park, I think many hectares had been destroyed. But as a district of Bududa and the government of Bududa, we agreed to reinstate the forest in those destroyed areas. Okay. So we are coming in because we understand the situation we are facing and we understand what may happen in the future. So Bududa is very positive in terms of reduction, in terms of adoption, in terms of mitigation. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman. And I want to assure you that whatever is spoken in the People's Parliament, the National Parliament is watching. And they are using the views of this Parliament to ensure that they go and debate them in the National Parliament. So this is a very important Parliament for the people of Uganda. Go ahead, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Madam Honorable Speaker. In 2012, we lost people in Umarukani. Government closed the Maraha Primary School. In 2010, we lost people in Namesi. Tunasi Primary School was also closed. So in the area of service delivery, especially in education, those communities remain in darkness. The schools are closed.
Even hospitals have been swept away.
The population is there. The health centers were crushed. The manpower, including the civil servants, then one of the health workers also died. And the government has not taken any measure to give us options to have alternative temporary structures to cater for the population that remain in those places in as far as service delivery is concerned. So the long-term effect of the education sector in Bududa is that those people, especially the younger kids, cannot be able to cross, to move a longer distance, to go to the nearby primary school. And we feel that this generation, the current generation, and the future generation, the population, will get affected, especially if we're emphasizing about transformation. We cannot transform this country, this population, unless we have gone through the systems of education.
Okay.
And this is something that we feel that as people of Bududa, we must use this parliamentary forum of the people of Bududa to advocate and demand the government to reorganize and reopen those schools because we have the population there.
Thank you.
Relocation should be regulated, but I would think that as long as we are all victims of disaster, we would think that compensation is the best approach. To compensate the people of Bududa, to stay in the nearby places, to remain in their normal localities, to develop their own localities, and this will take us forward other than putting the whole Bududa relocate to Kriandonga and Bunamutie, even those places equally are affected in the same way. So we feel that this is the best approach, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
I beg to submit.
Thank you. I'm sure the honorable member has heard. Yes, honorable member.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I need this House to be aware that the Parliament of Uganda, as we talk right now, has established a committee on climate change. And I believe the biggest beneficiaries will be the people of areas like Bududa. And I want to tell you comfortably that when I go back, I will ask them when they are doing the consultations, if they have not yet done it, on this bill of climate change, they are going to come and do it in Bududa. So they put your views in the climate change what? Bill.
Okay, yes. Thank you. Thank you for that assurance, honorable member of parliament.
We want to thank government for coming in supporting Bududa about the disaster that has happened all these years. I happen to come from Marukan, where the landslide happened at 2012. It happened during the day, and it happened where there are trees. And I want to take this chance to send a message through you that the government should know that most of the mitigation measures have taken place and they have not worked. And this is what our government should do for the people of Bududa, that instead of looking for only one solution, that is relocation, there should be other plans other than relocation, because it's not a long-term solution. So you have a short-term and a long-term. And Madam Speaker,
what are some of those solutions, honorable member, that government
the previous speakers have said that we talked about urbanization. Urbanization in the council we ably came out and spoke about it, and we gave the reasons why people should be having urbanization, that people of Bududa adapted to this environment.
Speak about, honorable member, to give information, when we speak about landslides in Bududa, the world think that the entire Bududa is landslide prone. They don't know that we have the lowlands around here. That's why the people of Bududa, honorable member, are saying we can be relocated within Bududa, within the lowlands of Bududa. That is the urbanization we are talking about. Go ahead, honorable member.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think you have added their voice. You have seen people have gone to Chiriandongo, they have gone to Bulambuli, and Madam Speaker, they are back. Because the government has not done enough assessment, they have not done an evaluation to know why people are coming back. So my appeal is the government should have an ear to listen to the people on grassroots. There are people on the ground who are affected, and the government should take time to listen to people's voices and take action. Other than people coming from Kampala or from the central and then bring in solutions when the people are there. That's why they'll be relocating people and people are coming back.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, just one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have, climate change is natural, but we have causes. The causes of soil erosion, there is population pressure, and then other factors. So when we look at our girls who are getting pregnant and having children at an early age, it is a problem. what is government doing on about that one? So they should look at the causes, and then also they look at the solution is, what is the government of Uganda doing about the population pressure?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Madam
Honorable
Speaker.
Member. Please have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and the colleagues in the August House. My name is Namon Marion. I work as a District Environment Officer in the Natural Resource Department. As a department, every financial year, we are allocated a budget. A budget is very minimal, but amidst that, we've raised a few tree seedlings every financial year and distributed to the community to restore in the hilly areas and in those affected areas where the landslides are happening. Secondly, I appreciate the Office of the Prime Minister on the New South 3 program. Through New South 3 program, they embraced watershed integrated approach, where we have livelihood program and then environment restoration programs.
Honorable Member, you are from Environmental Department, right? Yes. Just as Honorable Foibe Lubango has raised an issue that there are times where the landslides come and take the trees. So maybe as a department, you should go and do more studies and see which kind of trees can survive in this kind of area. Is that clear? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the guidance. That is for noting. We shall go and do more research about that.
Order, honorable members. Go ahead.
We shall go and do more research about that. My appeal is, can the New South 3 program be scaled up to other sub-counties in Bududa?
Okay.
And we shall be able to go on with
Thank you.
environment. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. I think when we talk about disasters in Bududa, I tell you we can talk until the cows come back home. I think the powers that be you have had, the people of Bududa are talking about urbanization. The people of Bududa are talking about the hard-to-reach areas. The people of Bududa are talking about the schools and the hospitals that have been swept by the landslides. But what is government doing to ensure that these places are restored? Let's go for a short break. And when we come back, the people will tell us on how we can restore the ecosystem in Bududa such that we can live within our district. Yes, welcome back. You are still watching your favorite program, NTV People's Parliament, chaired by none other than your speaker, Agnes Nandutu. And we are in Bududa. As we speak now, it is raining heavily in Bududa here. And we are talking about the climate change. The powers that be, if as you sit in your air-conditioned offices in Kampala, think about Bududa. Think about the people of Manafa. Think about the people of Sironko. The entire Bugiso and the Sebei region, we are all affected by this problem. So, please plan for us. Honorable Member, what can we do now to restore the ecosystem? Please, 1 minute.
On the ecosystem, before I say anything, Madam Speaker, I want to say that the government of Uganda has erred somehow in a way that is trying to curb the problems that are affecting the people of Bududa in particular. Instead of looking at the real answers to the problem, they try to bring in food and other items once in a while. This food serves the purpose for only a short time. So we wanted the government to look at this as a point which is not going to help Bududa very well. They should try to look at a long-lasting solution to the problem. So, my last word will be that the government should actually try to look at the real corridor of the problem. And the problem, if it's discovered, let us try to focus and see where the answers should go. I'm saying the answers should go to institutions where the information will flow very fast to reach everybody, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Mzee.
What we are talking is all about us. We are the ones to have an answer to it. One,
Closer to the microphone, Mzee.
there is a lot of encroachment, at the rivers and at the forest. Although we are looking at the landslide that happened in Marukani, which happened at in the place where there were trees. But again, it depends on the landlord. I mean, the trees that are there, how many are they? It may be so heavy. We are now talking of population. The population density is too high considered to the land that we do have in Bududa. And that should be addressed. Our agricultural practices also do affect our climate change here. We should have a regulation, even this environment, there should be regulations of where one should settle and how one should dig.
To me, I would think government should not consider treating the symptoms of landslides, but they should go ahead to look at the root causes of these landslides in the district of Bududa and be able to help the people of Bududa, other than coming when the landslides have occurred, then they resettle people, and yet they would have actually helped them, but be kept within the district. I would think government should really think about strengthening the slopes of Bududa district, and this requires changing the surface of these slopes. However, I would propose to government that they would actually embark on landslide mapping. They should map those areas, then actually do a monitoring in those areas where the landslides happen, and be able to do a landslide forecast, inform people on what is about to happen in a short while, so that they are relocated and maybe come to the lowlands. Then empower the engineering department in the district and the country so that they help the people. And lastly, they should bring in the aspect of insurance. We are losing a lot of lives in the district of our dear ones, and there is no insurance. There is no way you can do a risky mitigation without insurance.
Thank you. Point
Thank you.
taken. Thank you. Yes, Honorable Member, 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Now, mine is looking at practicability, and I want us to see how to really, we are bringing so many suggestions, but how are they going to work? Me, I'm looking at what the chairman said, that out of maybe 500 people we expected, we have only taken a very small percentage. So me, I'm thinking that the funding modality is a problem. Free things can never be adequate. Government cannot be able to finance whatever interventions we are going to talk about. But I think we have so many bodies that can be able to provide very, very cheap loan financing and long-term for whatever method they decide, whether it is internal relocation or external, but it should be financed on a long-term basis. And then we also have activities. Today we have contract farming. For instance, the people who were taken to Bunambutie, I think right now they are still just sitting. They have not started any...
To the microphone, please.
They have not started any productive activity. But if it came as a package where you are being given a loan that is going to finance your housing and then the economic activity, people would be able to relocate and live a sustainable life.
Point taken, Honorable Member. You have 1 minute, Honorable Member.
Yes, my name's Mayor Patrick. I represent the people of Bubita. Now, we are speaking, we are here. what about the generation, the younger generation? I am arguing this message that the Parliament of Uganda to take this matter very seriously, to be under one of the curriculum from primary to the highest institution of learning. This is how we are going to manage this situation.
Yes, Honorable, you can go ahead. From the Ministry of Water?
Thank you.
I didn't know you were around. You'd have answered many things.
From
yes?
Ministry of Water and the Environment, specifically from the Director of Environmental Affairs, and I heard the regional center, Mbare here. Now, reallocation, the way you have been discussing it is a part of the short-term way of managing the risk in this area, but you still have to go for the longer term. And this longer term, as government or Ministry of Water, we are now taking the approach of the integrated management of water resources and the catchment, so that we are able to look at what is happening as an ecosystem right away from the upland to the downstream. Now, you know, we are discussing what is happening currently in Mbare, on Nabiyonga, and the other system down there. But in reality, these are the effect of what is coming from upstream here, going down to those two systems. You know, we have a system here of Manafa, which is feeding directly to Namatara and to Mporogoma system down. Now, to manage this climate change, we need to manage the ecosystems, both the wetlands and the catchment we are having here, the forest reserves. So, as government, we have come up with the integrated plan for the whole of this catchment, and we are calling it the Mporogoma Catchment Management Plan, taking in case of all the 18 districts surrounding this Mporogoma system. And you know that water coming from up here is what which feeds Mporogoma wetland down. So what we are doing, we are managing the wetland, the forest, and the associated catchment here in a management plan. Okay. But the implementation is by several players. So when we see our friends, the partners here coming in to do restoration, the district, local government, Bududa, and other people coming in to implement some intervention within the plan, we are trying to come up with the long solutions for the problem, because somebody has suggested, what can we do? Now, government has come up with this project, and this project is an 8-year project trying to restore wetlands downstream, but at the same time targeting almost 64,000 hectares of wetlands on Mporogoma, but at the same time targeting 11 hectares of the catchment of the area here, so that we are able to restore this ecosystem. Okay. But again, we have to take up, somebody mentioned the livelihood. We have to find a way how to help community to take up other friendly activities, livelihood, that they can take that do not damage the ecosystem, the forest and other ecosystem, so that community avoid those socially constructed vulnerability areas like the gardens and the cultivation. You can see here, they are cultivating up the edge of the river.
Okay, Honorable, what is that program called? What's the name of that program? 8-year program. Okay,
this program, the project is called the Building Resilience of Communities, Wetland Ecosystem, and the Associated Catchments. Okay. Now the Associated Catchments, these are the areas.
Please do not keep it in papers for a long time, because you have seen what is happening in Bududa, and do not oversit in those air-conditioned offices. Come in on ground and work on that project, please. We
definitely, we are ready to implement the project together with the communities around here and getting information.
Has it started or it's yet to start?
It is already started. Okay. Actually, we are even installing, one of these, we are installing an automated weather station around the police here, so that we are able to pick the information to the ministry, the headquarters, and they are able to give this early warning information.
Thank you so much.
To the community.
But go on the media and tell the people what you are doing. Don't do it quietly. Thank you.
Yes, we are coming to the media.
Thank you. Please, 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. By the names, I'm called Namanda Paul. I'm a student of Bududa, yes. I think, as the previous speaker said, when the landslides occur in the already planted areas where trees are already planted, I think instead of planting eucalyptus trees, let's look for trees which have deep roots, which can hold the soils in order to make the soils firm.
Okay.
That's have been my views.
Thank you. I think the Environment Department will do more research and find out the kind of trees that we can plant here. May I have the partners wind up in 2 minutes, please?
Our final appeal as Partners for Resilience, we appeal to government to fast track the passing of the climate change bill, to budget and allocate finances for this bill, put communities at the center of this bill. By communities, I mean, when financing comes for the bill, the money should come to the grassroots level where the action is. We also asked for the fast tracking of the National Disaster Management Bill. In this bill, we also want communities to be put at the center of the interventions. Budget should be allocated up to the grassroots where the action is. Number 3, we also call for fast tracking of the wetlands policy and bill. If these are acted on and if communities are put at the center, funding sent to the grassroots, communities are willing and able to take action. We've heard from the discussions. And we also acknowledge that government can't do it alone. We are the fighters. As people, we call upon you to take action. We have a social security system that works when disasters happen. Okay. We urge you to continue doing it. Don't wait for government to do everything.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I know Red Cross is around. Red Cross is always on the ground whenever there is disaster. I give you 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Kutosi Patrick Omukama, representing Red Cross. Actually, Red Cross, it has been on ground during times of disasters and even free times. We have implemented a lot of activities, that is the DRR, and then eco management, restoration, and other activities. But we have actually some challenges, the funding. Funding is a problem. They have a good contiguous plan in the whole of Uganda, but the problem is the funding.
Okay.
So thank you.
Thank you for being precise. Can I have honorable members? You commit to us. We voted you people to go to Parliament and work for us. Assure the people of Bududa. I know you come from another constituency, but you represent the entire Uganda.
Thank you.
In 2 minutes, honorable
and
member.
When I'm here, I'm also speaking on behalf of my colleagues who are not here.
Okay. Honorable member informed you that the members of parliament who represent Bududa district, the woman MP from Bududa district, the MP for Mangia and MP for Lutehe were not able to be here because they have been assigned other duties. Go ahead, honorable member.
It is my commitment on behalf of the Parliamentary Forum on Climate Change, on behalf of Parliament, and as legislators, to always make sure that we stand with the people. When you see the ministry here, they are here because we facilitate them. By giving a budget, we appropriate. We shall always commit to appropriate even more funds towards adaptation and all these issues of risk reduction, so that our people, restoration of the ecosystems, so that we move forward. We want to see people coming out of poverty, but not people who are getting more vulnerable because of climate change. Parliament is committed. Of course, we are talking about the climate change bill. We need to fast track it. So, as a House of Parliament, we commit to stand with you, pushing towards these resolutions that you have already made here, and make it something that comes to a reality for the good of Ugandans who are settled around this place.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members, for being part of this parliament. I am grateful that I'm at home debating with my people. I know I have my teachers who taught me in primary and those who taught me in secondary. Thank you for educating me to be able to sit on this platform and address the country. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for coming in big numbers. Those who have been watching us on air, whether you are in America, whether you are in Japan, wherever you are, and those who are within Uganda and other districts, thank you for being part of this People's Parliament sitting here in Bududa. The powers that be, you have heard the cries of the people of Bududa. You have heard their requests. They are waiting for you. And as you are aware, 2021 is coming. They are saying until you do that, hey, we also have votes. So please, the powers that be, come and rescue the people of Bududa. Thank you. I am your speaker, Agnes Nandutu, and I aspire to inspire you before I expire. With powers conferred upon me as the Speaker of People's Parliament, I adjourn this House until next Saturday.